Picture two people in their 60s doing the exact same workout, lifting similar weights, putting in equal effort every session. 6 months later, one is visibly stronger with more energy, while the other feels exactly the same or even weaker. What separates these two people is not luck, genetics, or how hard they are willing to work. It comes down to a single shift in how they approach training, one almost nobody over 60 is ever taught. Once you understand this shift, it can completely change the trajectory of your strength and muscle for the rest of your life. If you are over 60, here is the first thing you need to accept. You should not be training the way you did in your 30s. That might sound discouraging, but it is actually the opposite. It is good news because the problem is fixable. After 60, building muscle becomes significantly harder than in your teens or 20s. Results simply stop coming as they once did. This phenomenon has a name: anabolic resistance. Your body now needs a stronger stimulus to produce the same results as before. Two things drive muscle growth at any age: resistance training for stimulus and protein intake for raw building materials. After 60, your muscles become less responsive to both inputs. You can train and eat the same yet get far less result. This can feel deeply frustrating. You are putting in the same effort, and yet the results have quietly disappeared over time. When people hit this wall, the instinctive reaction is almost always the same: do more, add exercises, push harder every session. But here is the cruel twist. That extra volume might actually be working directly against your recovery and progress. As we age, recovery capacity declines. Muscles, tendons, and the nervous system bounce back more slowly after each session. Piling on more training may not build more muscle. It may simply dig a hole your body cannot climb out of before next time. There is a second, more subtle mistake. When people add extra sets, they unconsciously pull back on intensity within each set. Volume goes up while intensity quietly goes down. And intensity, meaning how close you push to your limit, is what matters most. Your muscles grow in response to mechanical tension, the load and effort placed on muscle fibers during each working set. This is especially true for type 2 muscle fibers, the fast twitch fibers responsible for strength, power, and explosive movement. These fast twitch fibers are the ones we lose fastest with age, and therefore the ones we most need to work hardest to rebuild. People end up feeling weaker despite more effort, because that effort is spread too thin across too many sets and exercises. The solution is called the 321 method, one framework that has proven remarkably effective for people over 60 breaking through plateaus. Think of it not as the ceiling of what you could do, but as the floor, the minimum effective foundation for consistent progress. The first number, 3, refers to the number of exercises per session. Just 3, not 7. Not even 4, just 3. Those 3 exercises should cover a squat, a push, and a pull together, hitting your entire body and every major movement pattern. Each of the 3 should also be a compound movement, working multiple muscles and joints at once rather than isolating a single area. In practice, this might look like a goblet squat, an incline press, and a Romanian deadlift covering your full body completely. For each of your 3 exercises, you complete exactly 3 sets every single time you train. 9 total working sets per session. Each set should be taken close enough to your limit that you finish with somewhere between 1 and 3 reps left in reserve. Reps in reserve simply describes how many more repetitions you could have completed if you absolutely had to push further. Research consistently shows the exact number of reps matters far less than how close to failure you bring each working set. For people over 60, the sweet spot sits at 1 to 3 reps in reserve, not 0, not 5, but that precise narrow range. Training to complete failure carries noticeably higher injury risk, while stopping 1 to 3 reps short delivers nearly identical gains. 3 exercises, 3 sets, 1 to 3 reps in reserve. That brings us to the second number in this method, 2. The entire routine should be performed twice per week, with a minimum of 48 hours of full rest between each session. If you train on Monday, your next session should be no earlier than Wednesday, and ideally on Thursday, for full recovery. It is not the workout itself that builds muscle. It is the recovery that follows it. Skip recovery and you move backward. When starting out, repeat the same workout on both training days each week. Simplicity here is a feature, not a limitation. The variety that drives progress will not come from swapping exercises. It will come from progression. That is the final number. 1. Each week, you progress every exercise by exactly one variable, reps, weight, or technique. Only one variable at a time, always. Say you did a goblet squat for 3 sets of 10 in week 1. In week 2, you aim for 11 reps per set. That is all. Alternatively, keep the reps at 10 and add a small amount of weight instead. Or slow the movement down to refine your technique. This gradual, deliberate increase reflects the overload principle, continuously making work slightly harder over time to keep adapting. Without that gradual overload, even a perfectly designed program eventually stalls. Progress requires a moving target to chase. First rule: every set should end with no more than 1 to 3 reps left in the tank. Never coast, never crush yourself completely. Second rule: control your tempo. Every rep needs at least a 3-second lowering phase, with absolutely no bouncing between reps. The slow lowering phase is where much of the muscle-building stimulus actually occurs. Resist the urge to rush it every time. Third rule: use a full range of motion for each exercise, moving through as much comfortable and safe range as your body allows. Fourth rule: rest 2 to 3 minutes between sets. Cut rest short, and you cannot push hard enough in the following set to progress. The 321 method is a starting point, not a finish line. Advanced trainees can layer accessory exercises on top once the core is solid, but the 3 big compound lifts should remain the foundation. Everything else is built around, regardless of your experience level. If you are just beginning, stick strictly to the 3 exercises and 9 total sets, then leave the gym to recover properly. You should never leave a workout feeling completely wrecked. You should feel more energized walking out than when you walked in. That energized feeling is a sign you trained at the right intensity, rather than simply grinding yourself down into exhaustion each time. Your body is not broken, and your progress is not over. It simply needs a slightly stronger signal, delivered with precision and consistency. Twice a week, one small number ticking upward each session. That is all it takes to keep building strength for the rest of your life.